I look like it's 7 o'clock at night and I've spent all day in the house.
Well, it is 7 o'clock at night and you have spent all day in the house.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Podcast of the Day. And we have a very special but fairly familiar guest on from his new rather exciting life in Los Angeles. Joshua Al-Chamaa, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. It feels like forever since I've been on this podcast with you.
It is forever. It's been ages. I haven't seen you since Strength and Depth. How are you?
I'm doing good. Obviously, we're all going through the same situation at the moment with the current lockdown through quarantine. But, you know, apart from having to stay at home, I'm keeping my spirits up and I feel pretty good.
So what's home like for you? What setup do you have for being locked indoors for 90% of the day?
So I have taken it upon myself to get a Concept 2 bike and a ski. You can kind of see in the background there. We deconstructed our dining room on the 3rd floor of an apartment in West Hollywood. So
I bet the people below you love you. Oh,
I already know they hate me. I've been doing like double dumbbell cleans with 30-kilo dumbbells, smashing off the ground and stuff. I was outside doing, I couldn't do a burpee box jump, so I was doing burpee vertical max height jumps, and every time I hit the balcony, I could feel it shaking. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, and I'm trying to make the best out of the situation and do the most I can with what I have.
Yeah, where's your head at with it all?
I mean, I have good days and I have bad days. I wouldn't say that, you know, I'm in no means a negative headspace. I try and keep everything really positive, but it's kind of accepting that, you know, even though I had, and I'm sure we'll kind of touch on them, I had some great competitions prior to this whole quarantine thing. And, you know, I think I did like 5 Sanctionals prior to it. I still had more lined up. So it kind of, you know, I took the hit because I was looking at these other opportunities and, you know, trying to stay hot on it with training. And at the moment, you know, I'm limited in what I can do. So I've just said, well, I've got these great machines. I'm going to become as machine strong as possible, which is a program that I've been putting out as well, with some workouts. So I'm just trying to take that time to really actually enjoy fitness rather than stress about the competition side. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to be competing for a while, but let's stay fit and just try and have as much fun as I can.
Okay. So coronavirus aside, and we'll just shove that.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, we might talk about it a little bit later, but not right now. Tell me about your new life. Like, what are the biggest changes about moving stateside that you've noticed in terms of CrossFit?
Well, I think the biggest change for me is just being able to be outside more, and I think that's been the most positive change in my training. Being able to train outside in the sun has made a really big difference for me. I'm one of those people that likes being outside as much as I can. And I didn't realize how much it was kind of bringing me down a little bit in not so much the UK as specific, but kind of just being in a cold environment. To actually get outside and be able to train has really benefited me. Also, I found myself a group of different athletes from various different gyms, which has been quite fun. I came out here and did some work with Knocko USA, and they kind of used me to plug the brand in different gyms across Los Angeles. So I got the benefit of meeting great athletes like Jamie, Haley Murillo, a girl called Madison. Most of them are girls. Most of the good athletes here are girls. But it's been fun to kind of just move around gym to gym and train with different people. I think that's been one of the benefits for me, to be able to train with those competitors as well.
How much has life changed?
It's changed a lot. It's became more training and competition focused, which has been quite fun. I've been doing a lot more work with various brands. You know, I've been, you know, working with Romwad and loads of different companies, which has allowed me to kind of take this more professional, which is what I wanted to do essentially. But yeah, up until this point, it's just been very much training focused. It's almost like I'm training as much as I can and supplementing that with work to make sure that I can keep funding my training.
And it's going well? You're enjoying it?
It's going really well. Loving it. I mean, you know, I was fortunate enough, like I said, to make so many different Sanctionals, which I was super grateful for. I mean, aside from training, I've also been traveling the world, which has been insane. You know, 5 different continents in 10 months. And seeing loads of different places and connecting with, you know, loads of different people and experiencing different cultures. I mean, that's been one of the kind of real big highlights of the year so far.
I was going to say, because you've basically moved to the US, but probably spent like no time there at all.
Nope, no time at all. Actually, I've spent the most time here now. So like even when I came, I kind of said, so I spent 6 months of last year here. And then, but it was like on and off back to the UK. And then I came January 1st and I was like, I'm going to, spend some time here. But then 2 weeks later, I flew back to London and did strength in depth. And then I came back and then went to Miami. Then I came back and then Brazil. So it's just always been all over the place.
Okay, so let's go through your kind of crazy sanctional season. I love that you are now known across the globe as Mr. Sanctional. Like that's like your termed kind of nickname.
I'm not sure if it's the name I want to uphold forever. Mr. Games would be a good one to get, but I'll take Mr. Sanctional for now.
How nice is it though that people like Tommy McCares and Sean Woodland and Talking Elite Fitness are all, talking about you? Like,
it's crazy.
Could you have imagined of that like a couple of years ago?
Nope. Like just even one of the good things, I know we don't want to touch on this time and the whole quarantine so much, but one of the good things that this has allowed me to do is really slow down and look back at everything that's happened. And when you're in it, you just kind of like keep going, next one. And then when you look back and you realize these crazy things, like, spending time with Justin LaFranco and Tommy Marquez in China and, all this stuff that's been going on, which I'm just like, how did this even happen? From competing in local box competitions to traveling the world. I mean, even I'm still like, what?
It's amazing though, isn't it? So strength and depth, did you feel like your best there? Was that something that you wanted to go to and kind of hit home, being your kind of like original home sanctional?
So I always approach different competitions with different ways of attacking the competition, essentially. So I always have a different strategy and I try new things because I'm still trying to fine tune and figure out the way in which I'm going to get to the games ultimately. So I kind of use strength and depth as a platform to perform as much as I can to a home crowd. So in moments that I felt that I could really, take off and excel in a workout, I tried to do that. And even moments where I may have been like hit a little bit harder with a specific workout, I tried to use those moments to kind of look around, enjoy the crowd and get them fired up as well, knowing that that's my home, that's where I've come from. So I wanted to put on the best possible show for people that have come out essentially and paid money to support me. So
did you come away from the weekend feeling like you'd done that?
Yeah, completely. I came away with some, I think so what I did was I practiced a lot of the workouts prior, and that was the first time I really did that for any competition. For other competitions, I've kind of practiced one or two and not really had enough time and tried to keep my training in check. But for strength and depth, I kind of cleared everything and practiced the workouts. And that gave me a good sense of knowing what I had to do on the competition floor. Of course, there's the unknowable where people are going to come through and do things a little bit better or a little bit faster. And you can only contend with your best efforts. But I think every workout bar one, I beat all of my workout times and did everything that I essentially wanted to do. So,
and you had a full-on cheer squad?
I did.
How nice was it to have everyone over from your family and from Amber's family?
Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy having all of those guys there. And then also there was gyms that I've been dropping into, like Bear Walden and Saffron Walden when I visit my mum in that area. And there was a whole crew from there. And, I tried to use that weekend as well to connect with as many people as I can. And I found that, now, especially through my socials, I'm talking to a lot more people than ever, purely starting from that weekend.
Oh, that's class.
Yeah. So
that was obviously something that's always quite important to you though, wasn't it? Is your connection with people. Does that almost supersede the importance of being, at your highest athletic ability?
Well, it fuels me, and it helps me get to the best possible place that I can. I think if I neglect the people that are around me supporting me, then I'm just going to be on my own and not having as much fun. So I never want to do that. I always want to use that as fuel. And I've spoke about this before, but I've also experienced situations where, I've reached out to people and tried to connect from a fan level when I started in the sport and really got nothing back from it. And I remember saying to myself when people weren't really connecting with me that if anyone ever wants to connect with me, I don't want to make them feel the way that I may have felt when I was in that situation. So I'll respond to everyone.
That's lush. What was your biggest takeaway from that whole weekend?
Oh, that you can just have so much fun on the competition floor. Like, there was moments where I was riding the assault bike and I was singing and dancing, and it was those moments where I performed at my best. You know, the moments where I kind of go out and I'm really anticipating what's going to happen, that holds me back. But the minute I kind of just let go, enjoy it, laugh, smile, then I really do have the best time and I perform a lot better. So I learned that specifically on that weekend.
Oh, that's good. Did it give you a kind of a good overview of where you are in terms of, because Matt Fraser was there, because a lot of the key English athletes, so Zach George and Dave Schronke were there, did it give you a good overview of where you are in relation to that journey you need to take to get to the CrossFit Games?
Yeah, and it also made me realize that it's possible. It kind of gave me, you know, when I'm competing and coming top 5 in workouts in a field like that, you're like, okay, cool, this is possible, you know. And I think that's one of the best things about competing on a stage with those kind of athletes, is it really shows you where your strengths and weaknesses are in the field that you want to compete against in the future. So that allowed me to do that. And there was, you know, I had moments, one of the biggest moments for me of that weekend, speaking of highlights, was, you know, walking that 100-kilo bar for 9 reps and being the first person to do that and kind of setting the standard, and just went all out with that, and realizing that I can contend with a lot of the other athletes. Really just gave me the confidence that I needed.
Is it just confidence then for you, largely?
Yeah, I think I am my own worst enemy sometimes. If there's a workout that I look at it and go, oh, this is going to be challenging for me, then straight away the first word that comes into my head is, I'm like, okay, damage limitation. Do what you can, but try not to mess it up too much. And actually, one of the things I've figured in competitions after strength and depth, there's other learning points, more so in Brazil, is that don't think about, just go all out. You know, there are going to be moments where you have to be a little bit tactical, but you know, from strength and depth and the competitions after Wodapalooza and Brazil, I started getting my first event wins, which I'd never had before, because I just realized that actually, if I apply myself and give it everything I possibly can, then that is going to be the best performance.
Do you think all of this is in part due to the fact that you've actually only been doing this for what, 3-4 years?
Yeah, 4 years, 4 and a bit years now.
4 and a bit. Well, time
sure.
flies.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm still learning, you know, and most definitely still a rookie. My girlfriend Amber likes to remind me I'm not as young as I make out sometimes. But like, I always consider myself the young one for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm still a rookie in this. And I think, 4 and a bit years, but I decided at Wodapalooza in 2019 that I wanted to go professional. So, and all of this, I mean, I've done, I think, 8 or more Sanctionals in the last year. So, you know, you couldn't do that before when it was the old regional format. So to even be competing that much, you know, I'm still learning and I'm still evolving.
On that though, do you think you actually would have had this success had it been the regional format?
Nope.
Just because the jump is so much bigger.
Yep. And I can sit here and say I'm not great at qualifiers. I'm a good competitor, but I'm not great at qualifiers. I think I find it very challenging doing those kind of qualifying workouts in my gym. The Open's always a tough one for me. You know, my stress levels are through the roof, especially spanning over a 5-week period. And also I work well under pressure, and I don't really apply enough pressure to myself when I'm in the gym. So I think the competition format has actually, the way it's changed and having the Sanctionals has really helped me, because it allows me to be in my element. Coming from being an ex-dancer to be on the floor and perform, that's what I like to do.
Yeah, and I think you do tend to find guys who just in general prefer competing in front of crowds and on the floor rather than on their own in their own gym. How did the Open go?
It wasn't my best, but it wasn't my worst. The first 2 workouts that came out, I didn't do too well with. I was actually very busy during the Open. I don't know why I did this to myself, but in the lead up to it, I was doing a lot of work with a company, and I was going around, and you know, just I wasn't really balancing my training with my work. And both of the first 2 Open workouts I did after a complete full day's work, and I did it on a Friday, because I said, for the first time in like Open history for me, I wanted to do the Friday Night Lights. I'd never done the Friday Night Lights before. So I wanted to do the Friday Night Lights and be part of communities. And actually, where I said I was going around to different gyms with Nocco, I actually did the Friday night lights at different gyms. And the first 2 workouts for the first 2, and then the third one, I said, no, I need to cut back now, because that kind of messed me up, where I wasn't in a comfortable situation like most athletes are when they do the open. And I really struggled because they were a little bit more kind of lower skill, high conditioning based workouts. But when you see the barbell start to come into play and the machines start coming into play, that's when I benefit. So it wasn't my best open. My first 2 workouts there were pretty, I mean, not weak. They were good workouts, but weak for me. And then I picked it up on week 3, 4, and 5. And also I blame this partly on Amber, because she was in the UK and I was in America for the first 2 weeks. So, and she
I was stressing you out.
Well, no, but she kicks my ass when I'm doing badly. So I'm like, if
Love
she,
it.
you know, that's why it changed as well, the 3 weeks after, because I remember on the 3rd workout, I finished it and I was like, that's a great score. And she was like, yeah, but you can go better. Go and do it again. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Love it. Is that something that you would target more perhaps next year? Now you've settled in your new environment. Hopefully Amber's around. Do you look at the male leaderboard in the UK and think that's very much achievable to get on top of that?
Completely. The year prior, I was, I only in the last week or the last week, I dropped from 2nd to 3rd in the UK. So completely is possible. I think the Open's one of those ones, as long as the right movements come out and the right workouts come, it's anyone's game. There isn't that pressure of competition, which a lot of people find a little bit more challenging, and I tend to enjoy. So the Open is very much a fitness-based, qualifier. There are some things in it, like you start going into heavy barbells, but like, for instance, the heaviest barbell in the clean workout went up to 145 kilos. And I'm like, well, that's still kind of achievable weights now for those top end competitors. It's not something that, that a lot of people are challenged by. So I think the Open is very much an all-round game. I think I can do it completely. It just has to be the right workouts that come in it. Well, I'm trying to make every workout the right workout, essentially, but everyone has their strong points.
Did the Open have any influence on you planning your Sanctionals year?
I didn't think I was going to have a Sanctionals year, if I'm honest. After the Open, especially, because of the first 2 workouts, I thought, I'm not sure what's going to happen here. If I hadn't have performed and redone workout 5 the way that I did, and I shaved nearly a minute off of the 5th workout, if I hadn't have done that, I probably wouldn't have been getting most of the Sanctionals that I got to. So my year would have looked very different.
So was it just a case of you received an invite and went, damn, yes, I'm going, and then another invite came in and you were like, I'll go to that as well?
Yeah. And I actually had to decline 2 other invites because they conflicted with other competitions. So, and then there was more that came off the back of that as well. But yeah, I kind of just said, me and Amber wanted to travel. I wanted to gain experience. I wanted to be out on the floor as much as I could. Like I said, I wanted to meet as many people as I could. I had my kind of my go-tos that I wanted to be at. But then when the others started coming through, I was like, cool, I'll take that. Where do I want to see the most? Okay, I'll go there. Some that I did last year, I didn't redo this year or didn't sign up again for this year, because I was like, well, I've seen that place. I will go again at some point, but for now, I just want to get experience from every competition. And every Sanctional has a different kind of format, which is what I've started to notice. So I want to figure out which one I like most. Yeah,
and it's different vibe, different kind of atmosphere, and also I guess they like to bring in, don't they, things about their region, like Norway's outdoor snowy run versus strength and depth gone rowing,
and in China we were using a stone lock instead of a kettlebell, and all these different and awesome. And it was cool. One of the great things that China did as well that I must mention is, and I think a lot of Sanctionals can learn from this, the day before competition they did a trip with all the athletes and took them to a panda sanctuary. I can't even say the word.
Sanctuary?
That's the word.
If there's ever a reason for me to become a CrossFit athlete, that is it.
But how incredible. They put us all on a bus. They had 2 buses, all of the, like, Justin DeFranco and Tommy Marquez, Talking Elite Fitness and Morning Chalk Up, they all came and we all went and just had a day together. And that really broke the ice when it came to the competition. And I think that a lot of competitions can learn from that, putting on experiences which are true to the kind of nation's heritage would really make a difference as well.
That sounds awesome. What was the best thing about that day?
As in seeing the pandas,
the panda
or
day. Yeah, no, I don't care about the
just,
competition. Tell me about the pandas.
I mean, we got to see some baby pandas, which was the cutest thing I've ever seen, which was really fun. But again, also just being with everyone, you know, we all became friends on that day. And, you know, China has such a different culture to what most people are used to.
Oh, yes, I've been. It's very different.
So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't struggle with things like eating, with communication, with travel. So to spend your first day with people that, you know, you can relate to, especially from a CrossFit aspect, and then kind of team up after that. You know, a lot of us were kind of teaming up and grabbing coffees and, you know, just hanging out, which was quite fun.
Yeah, that's lush. Right, okay. Going back to the kind of general order of your sanctional season, it would have
Yes.
been Miami after Strength and Depth.
Yes.
Yes. So you went as a team with Sam Briggs and Mikey and one other that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Harriet Roberts.
How was that? I bet that was a sick group to travel with.
It was the most fun I've ever had in a competition by far. Like that for me, the highlight is just we connected so well as a team, and I can't stress it enough. Our first ever workout collectively as a team was the first workout of Wodapalooza, and that's the first time we ever did anything together. But we just gelled, and it was incredible because everyone had really good banter. Not to the point where it affected the kind of communication that was key when you're doing, you know, events and trying to plan. And also we got to see the vulnerability between every athlete in our team. No one kind of, if there was something we were good at, we put our hands up and said, yeah, I'm good at that, I'll take more of that. But if there was a weakness, you know, we highlighted that straight away. So we managed to just kind of work with each other. And like my absolute dream is to get that team back together.
Actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Was it a little bit gutting when you had to give up that games ticket?
Yeah. If I said no, I'd be lying, but I also knew that would have been the outcome anyway. I didn't know that was going to be the outcome because initially when we put the team together, you know, I was thinking, firstly, games spots for teams never really get passed down to those positions. So, I mean, we came third on the podium, which is incredible, but usually if you win a competition so far in the sanctional season as a team, you're probably going to take the spot. But Wodapalooza had such great teams that it just happened that first place and second place already had game spots. So it came to us. So I didn't anticipate that as it was. I was a little bit gutted to turn it down, but also I acknowledged that it wasn't quite my time. And to do that a year on from going professional, I think is incredible anyway. But I knew that it wasn't my time, and I would never have even put that on the girls that have their games ticket because, you know, I want them to take that experience. Because should I be in that position one day and someone turns around to me and goes, hey, will you join a team with me, but there's no stress about the games, and then they turn around and go, well, actually we want you to give up your spot. You can't do that. So
yeah, for sure. How different was it to the experience you had with the two boys the year before? You went with Zach George and Mitch Adams, didn't you? The year before, and that was in like the threes competition.
Yep. So I mean, obviously it's different because you are contending for that game spot, so that's a change in itself. Also competing with a rounded team being 2 guys and 2 girls, and then competing with 3 powerhouse guys, again, that's very different. I think in terms of the fun that was had, both years I had a great time, hence why from 2019 to 2020 I wanted to go back. And I've been fortunate where WIT have turned around and, you know, both 2019 and 2020, they gave me the lead on building the team. So I was able to put who I wanted in the team then and also who I wanted in the team this year. So I was able to have as much fun as I could with that. But I mean, I would say the most different part of it would be trying, I think when you're syncing up in workouts as a 4 and it ends up being guy and girl and then guy, I think one of the most challenging things when you're teaming up guy, especially doing like heavy gymnastics, muscle ups, there's always different speeds and structures to how you move. Whereas with a girl, I kind of found, especially with the girls that we had on our team, we were able to sync up very well this year in those kind of movements. So
interesting.
Yeah, it was strange because you would think essentially 2 of the same athletes would
be a lot easier to work together.
yeah, but try and put me and Zach on the same muscle up bar doing muscle ups together. I mean, there's always going to be some struggles there, you know. So, but yeah, both experiences were great, and you know, I learned a lot from both of them. The 2019 was special because, you know, for me that was also the first one that Amber came to watch me compete, and it was the first time she actually looked at me and said, "You are good at this." I think prior to that, she didn't believe me. So, and then obviously 2020 is just like the evolution of my career, which has been really good.
For sure. So do you think it helped the fact that at that point you were living in the US? Do you think that had any sort of like kind of help when you're out in Miami in that US environment?
Yeah, I was used to the heat for one.
Yeah, I bet that is a massive difference.
Yeah, it plays a big effect, you know, especially when you haven't been training outside and then you go outside and it's super humid, you know, and you're caked in, you know, sun lotion and it's dripping down and stinging your eyes. If you're not used to that, if you're not used to that, that's going to be a struggle. But yeah, definitely having spent some time here, and then also the travel was less. It was a 5-hour flight versus, you know, like a 10-hour flight. Time difference was different too. Even though I actually this year, because I was kind of I wanted to perform really well this year, I actually went out to Miami earlier than I went to Miami leaving from the UK, which was strange. I should have gone earlier when I was in the UK. But yeah, I think it definitely helped me kind of being in this environment.
Are you East or West Coast? What do you prefer?
Is in terms of
like
what?
Yeah, well, you now live West, don't you? But West. Yeah.
Oh, West. I'm like, you know, beach boy kind of.
Can you surf yet?
No shoes on. I'm not surfing just yet. I did do a backflip the other day though, which I saw.
I was really impressed. Like, I know how long that took me to learn when I was a kid. So I saw it and I was like, Josh, of course you can do a backflip.
The best bit about it is someone that I met when I was out in Brazil, and I said to them, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not, but they sent me a message once they saw that video and they went, "Oh, great backflip. It looks like you put on some weight." And I was like, "Oh, cheers. Wow. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that."
Yeah, do you get back to him like all your other people?
Yeah, I do. No matter what I get, like I'll always respond. Might not be the response they want,
the Twinkies.
But I'll respond. But you know what? Like, and that's another thing that I am enjoying at the moment is I'm still trying to be careful, but I'm eating the foods I want to eat. You know, there's no pressure right now to be competition ready. And when you've gone from doing, you know, 5 sanctionals back to back, you know, I haven't had an off season. So I've kind of taken this time, especially throughout even the whole year. So now I'm taking this time to just kind of, you know, I'm eating poke, I'm having some desserts now and then. I'm, you know, doing what I want to do and just kind of like enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. Because that period, it was all in a month, wasn't it? You did like something like one every 2 weeks or one a week for 6 weeks.
Something like that. It was so some of the months I had 2 in a month. Majority of them were like 1 every month, starting from Filthy 150, then China, then London, then Miami, then Brazil. Did I have any more in there?
And the Open would have been knocking around somewhere as well.
Open, yeah. So there was a bunch of things. And then even in between that, I was doing other like local competitions. So I was taking part in local events. I actually had myself signed up to the LA Nike Half Marathon. And also I've started training for a competition called High Rocks. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but it's, you know, a 1 hour long, well, it can be a 1 hour, it can be longer, but it's just an event which has like ski, row, run, burpee, broad jumps, and you just got to get it done in the fastest time.
Oh, cool.
So I'm training for something like that as well. I've signed up, so I've got to wait for that to come back again.
Well, fits in rather well with the fact that you've only got cardio equipment and dumbbells.
Right? Perfect training right now.
Perfect training.
Yeah.
So the last of the year would have been Brazil before all this happened. Mm-hmm. Were you going to go on and do which others were you planning on doing?
So I was going to be going on to the West Coast Classic, which would have been new home ground being here. London's still number 1 home, but obviously, you know, the 2, obviously. New home ground. Then I was also going to go out to Shanghai and do the competition out there. And then after that, I was going to look at the second part of the IOQ2, and I was hoping to finish my season off potentially with the Mayan.
Yeah. Wow.
So Yeah, there was going to be a few more in there. West Coast was going to be pretty special because they were bringing back all the old regional and game style workouts with a bit of a twist. But also, you know, I was looking at the leaderboard and there was 25 of us competing and like 19 already had a games ticket.
So it would have been.
And, you know, I was practicing some of the workouts that came out. Like there was the snatch ladder workout. And I finished that in a really quick time. So I was like super excited to get out and do that. But, you know, it will come back. Things happen.
Yeah. Always next year, isn't there? Exactly. I mean, and I think I'm sure the same will be said for the games. I can't see it going ahead. So probably a bit of a blessing in disguise.
I just hope they don't do qualifiers for us again next year because I might not make it.
It's all those puddings. So what was Brazil like? I have not been to Brazil. I can imagine it's like kind of a bit kind of carnival theme and really friendly and kind of just,
they love sport. And that's all there is to it. They love sport. And I think, you know, it has all of that. It has that friendliness. But it's also, I think it's going to be a really good growing market for CrossFit. I've never been to a sanctional where the spectators have been so on board with the athletes. I mean, the love that I got out there, like my socials went through the roof from Brazil. You know, I didn't understand what most of the messages said, but I was responding to a lot of them too. But it was just like, I mean, I'd never experienced anything. Walking into the venue and I'm like signing T-shirts and stuff. And I was like, what is going on?
How often do you do your signature?
Not enough, because it was terrible. It looked like a 5-year-old writing on a shirt. And I literally had to say, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, it's lush.
But yeah, like for the fan support, Brazil was just on another level. And it came down, we'll talk about some of the events, but one of the key points for me is it came down to the final workout. Because I won the final workout, I put a Brazilian on the podium, so they love me even more.
Brilliant. Yeah, so okay, so talk me through the workouts. I am not as familiar with Brazil at all, probably because it's not in our time zone in particularly.
Yeah, I mean, the events were really cool. They were super diverse. I think the first event they had a track. So it was in this huge stadium, which I have no doubts in years to come they're going to completely fill. But it was so big, there was no way they were going to fill it. It was massive. But they took us out onto the track for the first workout, and it was, you know, you had to do various amounts of C2 bike, like a 1K C2 bike into a 400-meter run, 5 rounds with a weighted vest on. Yeah, I mean, I went out like a bat out of hell. 3 rounds in, I was like top spot. 4 rounds in, I was like bottom spot. No, I'm joking. But I went out really hard. In my heat, I was like number 1 the whole way through up until the last like knock-ins, and I came down to like 5th in my heat. But again, I took some time off my practice time in that workout, and I loved that one. Just being outside in the sun, it was incredible. And then they had various events in the stadium. I got my first ever event win with a machine-based workout. So
Amazing.
it was basically death by sandbag cleans, and you had to do 20 cal row. So in 90 seconds, you had to do 20 cal row, 2 sandbag cleans, advance the sandbag, run to the finish line. And then you had 30 seconds to reset and get back to your rower. Then you did the same thing, but this time it was 4 sandbag cleans, advance the sandbag, run to the finish, reset on the row.
That's really cool.
Really cool. Sandbag was 80 kilos. Who has an 80 kilo sandbag? I couldn't even train with one. But yeah, like with that one, I just went out so hard. I think I was going so hard that when you had to walk to the finish line to reset, I literally walked to the finish line, and other people were trying to sprint in, but I was, you know, quite far ahead of that, which was super exciting for me to be in that position and really feel that benefit of the hard work that I put in. Was really fun. And then they had the clean workout, which was 3 clean and jerks at 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. I came in second. I finished that in 1 minute 35, 1 minute 34, something like that. And then there was a couple more events, but another highlight was the final one where they repeated last man standing. And last man standing last year got a lot of press, especially from the morning chalk up guys, just because of the structure of the workout. So it was 12 calories on the assault bike into a 12-meter double kettle overhead lunge. And basically you go as hard as you can. There's only 8 athletes that make it into the final. And then what happens is whoever comes in last is knocked out, and you just keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
And I remember me and Raz, we were in the holding pen area, and we were just talking, we were chatting, and he basically turned around and he said, "You look, because he didn't know if he was going to make it, and he was like, any athlete that makes it to that final round, I feel sorry for you because you've been in for like 8 rounds." Well, little did we know it would be me and Raz that would make it into those final rounds. So that was super fun to really dominate an event like that too.
Yeah. Do you think it changed your, like, I guess, how you view it all? The fact that you started winning, did it like legitimize?
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. And again, I said in the beginning that I had different strategies for different competitions and how I wanted to go out. Well, when I came away from strength and depth, and I'm going to link back to that one more than Miami, because obviously it was an individual and Brazil was an individual. Sure. But when I came away from strength and depth, I always sit down with Amber and we have a little talk about kind of what I want to do going forwards. And one of our plans were to go into a competition with an event that I know I have the capacity to win, to give it everything I can to win it. And those events that I did, so it was great to come away from Brazil and go, okay, so I set a plan and I attacked that plan and it worked. So now I just need to have that kind of mentality with every other workout going forward.
How much are you leaning on Amber in terms of being a bit of a psychological coach, like a mental coach?
More than she knows it.
Yeah, like a lot of things you said makes me think that she's a big part of how you view fitness.
Well, yeah, completely. And, there have been 2 main factors, aside from my work and my effort, that have allowed me to do what I've done this year. One is sponsorships. Working with WIT has been, one of the biggest blessings I've had. They've really supported me to the max. But the other one is Amber, and aside from my sponsorship, she's also been a big support. I've been assisting her with her company and helping with work, and she's been assisting me with, various kind of mental approaches to what I've been doing, but also some financials as well, and helping in the best way that she can. So we've really become a team. And I'm just grateful for the fact that, I finish an event and the first thing we do is, because I'm one of those athletes, once I get something done, I want to get out for a little bit and get away, and we'll go and sit down and we'll talk and we'll address what happened and what we need to do going forwards. And she's helped me with that.
Has you got any occupation in there? Is it part of her day-to-day job? No.
Just a great girlfriend.
Right, you'd have to be to put up with you.
Completely. I mean, I'm sure she's probably getting sick of me now. I think, this morning I woke up and tucked her into bed like a human burrito because I'm getting so bored. I'm just doing these random things. But yeah, she works in fitness. So, and she's been a coach, she's been a PT. So she understands that. And I think sometimes when I'm so focused in the moment, leaning on Amber allows me to kind of take myself out and see it from the outside perspective, and then put myself back in and attack with gameplay. That's
lush. And you're becoming a big part of her life, aren't you, in terms of Move LA? Is that
completely. So Move LA is a company that Amber founded in 2015. Is that right, Amber? She's sitting here listening to me. 2015 as a corporate wellness company. So really just, taking fitness to people, offering it to businesses. And then one of the biggest markets that we noticed where people need fitness was in hospitals. We haven't been doing it at the moment because everything's been shut down for the reasons that we know. But we noticed that a lot of medical staff, doctors, nurses are doing 12-hour or more shifts. So to get out of work and go to the gym is very challenging, especially when they have families at home and they need to get home. So what we started doing was taking the gym to hospitals and creating setups where instead of being stuck in traffic for an hour in LA, you can come and get an hour's class and do some fitness with us before heading back home. So it's all in one facility. And then we started taking that around to other businesses too. And as that grew, we then evolved and went into events, because we saw a market where we could bring some of the best athletes, best coaches to the West Coast and deliver seminars and training days. And then since then, we're building various programs, working with, her sister is a mental health professional. She's completely qualified. So we're working with her in building a program now. A lot of what she did was within prisons. She learned about mental health within prisons. And although it's completely different, there's some similarities to how we're trapped inside now and everyone has to stay home. And the feelings that we might be feeling. So we're working on a program where people can address that too. So as a company, Move LA really is what it says. It's a movement-based company where we're trying to install good habits with health and fitness and being able to move in a better direction.
That's awesome. Especially the hospital stuff.
I feel like I just gave you a pitch there.
You were very good at it. It was very, very smooth. But is it important to both of you, I guess, to use your experience to give back?
Completely. Because when all's said and done, and something that this moment has allowed me to realize, if I think that everything is about being a competitor, what do I do when it's not there anymore? And it's not there right now, you know, so, and it's made me realize that actually, yes, I still want to compete and I still want to be a top level athlete, but what's next? What am I going to do afterwards? And we really want to help other people, and more so than give back, just share knowledge, you know, share what we have, anything that I can teach or help other people with, I want to do that. And we're also using the company. We both come from two completely different backgrounds, whereas Amber's more general fitness and I'm a little bit more competitive side fitness. We just kind of bring our two heads together and formulate something that works for everyone.
Well, it kind of leads very nicely onto your new programming kind of baby that you've shared with me and I've not tried yet.
Lauren,
I'm sorry. I'm following Mark's programming. He'd kill me if I jumped off ship.
Fair enough.
But no, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so as you can see behind me, I've got my ski and I've got my bike there. And I kind of just said, well, like, I haven't touched a barbell since this whole quarantine thing happened. Someone actually messaged me the other day and they're like, why haven't you touched one? Are you trying to rest your joints? And I was like, no, I just don't have one. And I just kind of thought, well, I want to use this time. A lot of my training, and I've been fortunate to work with Stephen Fawcett, who's an incredible coach. And a lot of my training and a lot of my fitness has come from these type of workouts that I've, you know, been adjusting and molding and shaping to put out to other people. And I've noticed that you can gain real strength through machines. So I'm trying to formulate a way where, you know, with limited resources and what we have now, where we are at home, you know, a lot of people have got a machine. From what I've been looking at, every machine is pretty much sold out on every company. So a lot of people have got them. So I've formulated a program which works for every single machine. So it's not like me going, right, I need you to do this on a bike because you might only have a row, or you need to do this on a ski because you might only have a bike. I've formulated a program with different percentages, which allows you to train on your specific machine, but I incorporate other movements. So there'll be like an endurance day, there'll be a power day, and there'll be a mixed modal day. But the mixed modal day will only ever have dumbbells and double under ropes or body weight. So it allows you to do everything at home, but still uphold strength. And I mean, I've been really blowing out my legs and upper body through these workouts. So, and I've been testing everything myself that I've been putting together. So I get a real understanding of what it's going to feel like and how other people can attack it.
How important do you think it is that people should keep to their gym routines whilst we're all in this lockdown world that we're living in?
I think it's very important to keep to a routine, but it's also important where if you have a day, and this is not every day, you can't take these days, but it's something that I kind of said to myself today, and I'm doing it today. If you have a day where you feel like you don't want to train and you don't want to do anything, that's fine. Don't do it. Reset, come back the next day. Because one thing that I'm learning and seeing through this whole process is people are training every day. They're doing something every day, and they're not actually giving their body any time to rest or recover. However, back to your question, do I think it's important? Yeah, because it gives you a time in your day where you step away from the couch or behind the computer screen to go, this is my moment. And this is where I'm just going to really exert as much energy as I can to then go back to any other duties that you may have, you know, because most of us are still working. It's very rare that someone's doing completely nothing. So we still need that kind of mental break from whatever stress or work we have.
What advice could you give people who are really struggling with their kind of their fitness in this situation that we find ourselves in?
I would say take baby steps. You know, there's a lot of great athletes and coaches that are putting out various different programs, free bodyweight programs, all different. And we're actually launching a bunch of different programs. We're doing 2-week cycles for dumbbells, kettlebells, bodyweight that we're going to put out for free. But there's a lot of these different programs that are going out that you can kind of tap into and take baby steps into achieving them, rather than going, well, there's this program and it has X amount of work on it and I have to achieve that. if you do a portion of that, or you do a little something each day, then progressively you will be able to build more of a routine. And I think that's one of my key learning points that I started in the beginning. I didn't wake up and become a competitor one day. I took baby steps and I tried to put little things in place. We spoke about it before, where I used to smoke and I used to drink and I used to eat bad. Well, I didn't quit everything and start training as hard as I could. I actually just trained 3 times a week. And then after training 3 times a week, I felt like the other stuff I was doing wasn't helping me. So I quit smoking, carried on training 3 days a week. Then I started cleaning up my eating. Okay, now I can add in 1 more extra day. Started training 4 days a week. So you have to take these small steps to bring, whatever you want into fruition for you. And I think if you start with saying, okay, I'm going to train 2 days a week, you might have been training 5 days a week before quarantine, and now you feel like you don't want to train at all. Well, train 2 days a week. 2 days a week is better than no days a week. And you're getting off the couch. And if you can build that, then start building some things into it. Also, go for a walk. Get outside. I think the moment I get out and get some fresh air, obviously avoid people as much as you can. But the minute I get out and get some fresh air, because I had days where I'm like, I really don't want to do anything. And I've gone for a walk and I come back and I'm like, okay, let's train. Because I've been outside the house and I'm not looking at the same 4 walls,
So the other thing I think a lot of people are obviously struggling with is not having access to kit that they would otherwise be used to. And especially when you don't have access to kit and you're having to self-program, how can someone then kind of build something that they can follow? Because you program yourself, how do you kind of, using what you have around you, piece together something really basic for the average person to follow?
Well, unless you have a knee injury, you can run. And everyone hates running. No one likes running. So that's probably something and that's probably something that most people can work on. Now, that doesn't mean go for a 5K run if you've never done a 2K run before, or go for a 10K run or miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, however you want to look at it. But you can do things like, okay, I'm going to run for 2 minutes. Then I put 1 up when I meant 2. Can run for 2 minutes. And then I'm going to do 50 air squats and I'm going to do 4 rounds. No equipment. There you go. You've got yourself a workout. Or, push-ups. Everyone wants to learn push-ups. You might not be able to do a push-up yet. You can do a push-up on the wall. You can do a push-up on the sofa. We have our bodies. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to remember, because when you come out of the gym and you're at that age where you're not maybe picking up dumbbells anymore, you still have to move, right? So we can still use our bodies, squats, press-ups, sit-ups, light jogs, fast runs, slow. There's so many things that you can do without actually having equipment. I think it's very easy. And I do it. I'm not going to say I don't. I even said to Amber yesterday, she was like, oh, we got this really small bar with little weights. She's like, why don't you just use the small bar? You're saying you're not touching a bar. And I was like, well, because I can't get the weight on it that I want. But some weight is better than no weight. Some movement is better than no movement. And that's what we have to remember.
Josh, thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
It's been a pleasure.
It's what time are you in LA?
It's like 12 midday now.
Oh, the panic on your face. Yeah. So, and it was 7 o'clock. So it's now 8 o'clock where we are. So the time difference is mental. So thank you for spending your morning with us.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. For me, I've always wanted to have this chat with you and speak with you. Obviously, working with you before, I thought there's no better person to actually put something out with. So
we should do a check-in, maybe once every quarter of a year. We'll do a check-in on life in the USA.
I would love to. And I'm sure, as things start to ramp up again, there's going to be some crazy things happening. I've been shooting things like workout videos for companies where I kind of felt like, I know we was going to wrap this up, but I have to say it. I just did a workout video recently before all of this. And I felt like I was doing a workout again with my mum in the front room, with cans and stuff. I did one of those home workout videos with the company. But sorry, sidetracking.
That's super exciting though. I hope you enjoyed the baked beans.
Well, that's it. There's going to be a lot more. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not CrossFit specific. I want to branch out and tackle all fitness. So you're going to see a lot of things coming from me.
All right, class. Well, we will, a couple of months time and this is all over. And I mean, here's hoping the CrossFit Games goes ahead, but I can't see it happening. Most sportsmen finished off to the end of the year in the UK, certainly. So,
yeah, I mean, I hope there's some contingency or something that goes into place for the athletes that have qualified, because that's where my heart goes out to, because I know the work that goes in. So I hope there's something. I hope there's something that comes back around where they are allowed to compete in some way. Whether that be next year or however they do it. But I can't see any sport happening for the rest of this year.
Which is you know, heartbreaking when it is your job / your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's more important things. And I think
completely health is more important.
Exactly. And we've all come to terms with it. And I think we're just all looking forward to when we can all see each other in real life again.
Yeah. And have some beers together.
And have some beers and some gin. Yes.
Yep.
The important things in life. But no, let's just speak to you, and I'll let you get back to your day.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking to you.
Cheers.